Hi everybody, this is a really nice sort of fairly gentle mat for about 20-30 minutes. No equipment needed, just a little head cushion if you would like one. As always, if anything doesn't feel great, then just make the movement a little bit smaller, maybe just check your position. If it still doesn't feel great, then just come away from it and maybe get in touch, let me know so we can work out what's not quite working. Alrighty, so we're going to start lying on our backs. Make sure you've got some length through the back of your neck. We'll have feet hip width apart, so maybe if you bring them together and then step toes apart, bring your heels in line, and that brings you to roughly hip width. So just take a moment to notice what you can feel through the back of your body. Where do you feel the weight? Through the back of your pelvis, up through each side of your back, the back of your shoulders. Are there any big gaps? Quite often it just gives you a bit of information about what's happening through your body. For instance, if you tend to feel more weight, say, into the left side of the back of the pelvis, it might just be an indication that your pelvis likes to rotate to the left a little. Same with the upper body. If you've got a big gap under the middle of your lower back, it might just show that you're holding a little bit of tension there. Hopefully by the end of the session that will feel a little bit more relaxed. Okay, so just gently draw your shoulder blades towards your back pockets so the shoulders come away from your ears. Think about your collarbones widening across the back of your shoulders as well. And then we'll just have a few deep breaths. So we're going to breathe in, fill the body with air, and then breathe out. Empty out all the air and let the body sink and soften down into the mat. So really nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just letting the body soften and sink into the floor. Just want to feel with that big in-breath, you're filling up the whole of your body. Breathing right down into your tummy, and then as you breathe out, empty out every last bit of air and let your body sink into the floor. One more nice big breath in. And then breathing out and sinking down. Okay, so we'll actually bring those legs back together now. We'll have ankles, knees, thighs all glued together. We're going to take our arms a bit wider. We're going to work into a level 2 hip twist, but we're going to keep it small to start with. So if you imagine there's a great big clock face, and your knees are pointing towards 12 o'clock at the moment, we're just going to take the knees across towards 11 o'clock and then back across towards 1 o'clock. So it's only just a very small rock from side to side. Keeping those legs glued so they are absolutely one unit, and just a little rock backwards and forwards. And we're keeping really heavy and soft into the mat. Still thinking nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, sinking into the mat. So you might want to pause with those knees across for your breath in, and then breathe out to draw them back through the centre. And if that feels good, you can start to take those knees towards 2 o'clock and then back across towards 10 o'clock. And if you want to allow your head to roll in the opposite direction, that is absolutely grand. But all the time, nice deep breaths, really focusing on letting the body sink and soften into the mat. So obviously one side of your pelvis and your lower back is going to come away from the mat as those knees roll, but only just as much as you need. Everything else stays really heavy, really soft into the mat. And then we'll just see if we take those knees a little bit further, maybe not quite to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, but heading a little more in that direction. And now we're going a little bit further, pausing for that in-breath as the knees are across. And as you breathe out, really sink those ribs back to the mat first. If the knees are coming further, more of your back will come away from the mat. Really use that out breath to sink heavy back to the mat. Let's go one more each way. And come back to the middle. Okay, so just bring those feet back to hip width apart. Pop your head cushions to one side because we're going to start to work up into the bridge. So keep the length through the back of your neck. And we'll start small again. So breathing out, just a little roll of the pelvis towards you, really sinking heavy into the mat. And then breathing in, and we'll just release the pelvis away. Breathing out to roll the pelvis towards you. Try and use as little effort as possible to sink flatter into that mat. Breathing in, just allow the pelvis to roll away a little, so you get that little gap between the middle of your lower back and the mat. Okay, so if that feels good, next time the pelvis rolls towards you, keep rolling the pelvis, and then a little bit of push into the heels, and just peel maybe one or two of those back bones away from the mat. We'll hold that for a breath in, and then breathe out and just relax back to the mat and release back to neutral. And again. And you might want to maybe peel 2 or 3 of those back bones up. Hold for a breath in. So this time, maybe peeling up 3 or 4, maybe 5 little back bones, holding for the breath in, and then breathing out to melt yourself back down to the mat. And again. So maybe coming a little bit further again, just checking you're keeping nice and soft through the rib cage. It's those glutes working to open you up through the front of the hips. Think about reaching the knees for the far wall. Holding for your breath in, and then slowly melting back to the mat one bit at a time. Really think about your waistband coming back to the mat before your bottom, and then releasing all the way back to neutral. Just go for one more. Breathing out to peel up. Holding for a breath in at the top, keeping those ribs really soft, making sure it's these bum muscles squeezing, tucking the tailbone. And then breathing out to peel back down and release to neutral. Okay, so just retrieve your head cushions so you're comfy. Check that length through the back of the neck again. Rib cage nice and heavy down into the mat, and we just want to keep that neutral position through lower back and pelvis. So you can always make the diamond with your hands, pop your thumbs and your belly button, fingers down towards the legs, and just check that those hands are completely level. Okay. And that should mean you just have that tiny little pocket of air underneath the middle of your lower back. Okay, so we'll start with some scapular isolations. So taking the hands up towards the ceiling, arms shoulder width apart, palms facing. We're going to breathe in, float the arms up a little further, and breathe out, and just let those shoulders sink back to the mat. Breathing in to float up, breathing out to sink down. So as you sink those shoulders down, thinking about widening across the back of the shoulders, see how much width you can get contacting the mat as those arms sink down. Just go for one more, breathing in to float up, breathing out to sink down. Then we're going to go into some arm scissors. So we're going to breathe out, one hand travels backwards, one hand travels towards the mat, and then switching over as you breathe in the centre, breathing out to reach the other way. So just think about those shoulders staying in that lovely wide position, just moving through the arms, keeping that feeling of distance between your ear and your shoulder, even as the arm reaches back overhead. If your shoulders are a little bit clunky, just make that movement a little bit smaller. Just go one more each way. Come back to the middle, let those arms come down. So we're going to go into our single leg stretch now. So just tune in again with what you can feel through the back of your body. Little pocket of air under the middle of the lower back, and the rest of you is just heavy and sinking into the mat. We're going to have a breath in, and as we breathe out, we're just going to engage through the deeper tummy muscles. So you can think about drawing little bony hip points at the front of your pelvis towards each other. Or you could imagine a big cold pebble sat on your lower tummy, and you're just gently drawing your lower tummy away from that big cold pebble. So as you breathe out, engage those deeper tummy muscles, slide one foot away from you so the leg straightens, and then breathing in to slide back again. Same on the other side. So keep tuning in to what you can feel through the back of your body. Can you keep the same pressure through the same parts all of the time? So if you imagine you were lying on a giant pressure sensor, you know, they make a sort of picture with different colours. Where the pressure is greater, you kind of have red and green, yellow, etc. If you think about the picture that the back of your body might make, you'd like that to stay exactly the same as you reach the one leg away and back again. And then the same on the other leg. And we're going to add in those arm scissors again. So as one leg reaches away, opposite arm is going to reach back overhead, and then they both return. And then the opposite pair. So you've just got one arm, opposite leg reaching away, and then coming back again, and then the same with the other side. All the time thinking about that picture your body is making on the big pressure sensor underneath you, and keeping that picture the same as you move through your shoulder and your hip. The body staying nice and heavy into the mat. Just that little pocket of air under the middle of your lower back. Okay, let's go one more each side. Come back to the middle. We're going to go into level 1 hip twist. I think I might have called it level 1 earlier, it's level 2. And then we're going to combine that with the single leg stretch. All the way through, we want to keep equal weight down into both sides of your bottom. So if you put your hands on the front of your pelvis, you can just feel whether there is any movement going on. You want those little bony hip points to stay completely level. So when you're ready, breathing out, engage through those deeper tummy muscles, open one knee to the side, breathe in and come back again. Same on the other side. So we're going alternate legs. Breathing out to engage through the deeper tummy muscles, breathing in to come back again. And on each out breath, you just reset with that idea of drawing your little bony hip points towards each other, or your big cold pebble on your lower tummy. And you only open that knee as far as you can maintain level pelvis, equal weight down into both sides of your bottom. And just check that the knee that's staying still, that stays pointing straight up towards the ceiling as the other knee opens, and then the same on the other side. It's very easy for the knee that's staying still to want to sneak out, and that is cheating. It basically counterbalances the other leg, and we don't want that to happen. We want the core muscles to work to keep you nice and still and stable. And you're challenging that ability by just opening the one knee and then returning. Okay, so we're going to take this into a single leg stretch. So we're going to breathe out to open the one knee. We're going to keep that knee open and slide the foot away. Once the leg's straight, just roll that leg so the toes point towards the ceiling and slide back in. Same on the other side. Big breath out to open and slide the leg away. Breathing in to roll so the toes point towards the ceiling and slide back in again. Open the knee, keep the knee open as the leg slides away, toes towards the ceiling and slide back in again. Now you just want to make sure that as you're sliding that leg away from you, your foot is staying in line with your hip. So it's not heading out on an angle away from the body, it's staying on nice parallel train tracks, if you like, in line with your hip. And this is a little bit more challenging, so keep thinking about equal weight down into both sides of your bottom. Those little bony hip points staying completely level. You might get a little bit of stretch through the inner thigh, but you're still all the time trying to stay still and level through the pelvis, just working through those hip joints. Okay, let's go one more on each side. Back to the middle. Okay, so we're going to go into level 2 single leg stretch. So we're going to have a nice long breath out to float one leg into single tabletop, then reach the toes towards the light switch, and then a breath in to fold back to tabletop and let the foot come back to the floor. So breath out to float up, reach, breath in to fold and down. So same principles of that pressure mat underneath you, keeping the picture that you make absolutely the same. Let's go one more on each side. And then we'll change this slightly. So we're going to go into level 4 hip twist. So we're going to breathe out, float up, and then open that knee to the side and come back again and let that foot come down. So we're going to go for a long breath out to float up and open, and a breath in to come back to the middle and sink down. So again, pelvis still staying nice and level. You think about your thigh being like a windscreen wiper as that leg opens, and you're keeping your foot in line with your knee as the leg opens to the side. And again, we're all the time just working on that equal weight down to both sides of your bottom, little bony hip points staying nice and level. Go for one more each way. Okay, so we're going to come up into double tabletop. So if you know that's not for you, you can do anything that we've done already. Otherwise, we are going to breathe out to float the first leg up. We're going to think about the ribs sinking and connecting down towards the hips, and then breathe out and float the second leg up. And to start with, we're just going to glue those legs together. And they're going to stay there. We're going to take our hands up towards the ceiling. So hopefully you can maintain neutral there. If that is tricky for you, you can flatten your back into the mat if you need a bit more stability. But just keep those ribs connecting so you're nice and stable. So we're going to breathe out, take the arms towards the wall behind us, and breathe in to come round in a nice half circle. So think again about that pressure mat underneath you. You want the back of the rib cage heavy into the mat all of the time Just that little pocket of air under the middle of the lower back if you're in neutral, or if you need to flatten completely, then that's okay. But whichever position you're in, it should be comfortable for you. It should not be painful in any way. If it is, you need to come back a level, maybe just work in and out of double tabletop. For your next working, think about those ribs connecting a little bit more. Nice soft peach between the chin and the chest, just gently keeping that there. Well done. Okay, let's go one more with the arms. And then they can come down. Bring those legs back to hip width apart. We're going to our level 3 single leg stretch. We're going to breathe out, reach one leg away, breathe in to come back again, and then the other side. So really opening up through the front of that hip as you reach that leg out and away. Maintaining the neutral position through your body, or flattening a little if you need to. Pause after this one. Take those hands back up towards the ceiling. We're going to go opposite arm and leg again. So as the one leg reaches away, opposite arm reaches backwards. And then they both return. And each out breath, just resetting those deeper tummy muscles, thinking about drawing those little bony hip points towards each other, keeping the ribs connecting towards the hips. Nice soft peach between chin and chest. If you want to make it a little bit tougher, we can take that leg a little bit lower so it comes parallel to the floor. We're just going to go for 3 more each way. 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Come back to the middle, take those arms wide and glue those legs back together. So now we will all flatten into the mat with the whole of our backs if we haven't already. And we're going to breathe out, take those knees across to one side. Hold for a breath in, breathe out and draw them back across to the other side. And if you want to look over the opposite shoulder, that is absolutely fine. Just keep thinking that those thighs are windscreen wipers coming across your windscreen, so they're always staying the same distance away from you. You do tend to just travel down your mat a little bit with this one. Okay, we'll just go for a couple more, one more each way. Breathing out to come across, pausing for the in-breath, breathing out to come back again. And come back to the centre, draw those knees in and have a little rock side to side. Well done. Okay, so we'll just keep one knee nice and close to the chest. Hold on to that with your hands. Pop the other foot on the floor, slide it away. So your bent knee is going to push up into those hands gently. Your hands keep it nice and close to the chest. So we're just getting a bit of a stretch into those glutes on that side, hamstring as well. A little bit of a muscle energy technique by pushing that knee into the hands too. Okay, so let your straight legs sink down into the floor, and we're going to point the toes away from us and then push the heel away from us and pull the toes back towards the shin. And then again, point the toes and then push the heel away. And hopefully you'll feel that each time you push your heel away, that leg can flatten into the mat a little bit more. You might feel a little bit of a stretch through the front of that hip depending on how tight you are. Just pushing the heel away and then pointing the toes. Just do a couple more on this side. And then we'll draw that leg back in again, hold on to that knee, pop the other foot on the floor, slide that foot away. Same again, so bent knee stays nice and close to the chest, hands hold that there, and the knee just pushes gently up into the hands. And then on the straight leg, pointing the toes and then pushing the heel away, pointing the toes, and then pushing the heel away. And again, each time you push that heel away, hopefully you feel that leg can flatten down into the floor a little bit more. Couple more. And then just draw that knee back in and have a little rock side to side. And we will roll all the way over onto hands and knees. We're going to tuck the toes under, roll back over those toes. Keep the hands on the mat, take the hips up towards the ceiling. We just have a little pedal out through the back of the legs, lifting one heel, lifting the other. See if you can let the crown of the head hang towards the mat. Draw the shoulder blades away, draw the shoulders away from the ears. So just getting that stretch into the back of one leg, stretch into the back of the other. And then when you're ready, let both those heels come down. Bend the knees, drop the tailbone, arm roll up to stand. And I'm sure I'm going to disappear out of shot. Come up to stand. Imagine I am still standing. And you're going to have a nice deep breath in and reach up. And then breathe out. Come back down. And again. Breathing in to come up. Breathing out. Last one. And there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. Take care. Stay safe.